This Town of Adams Board of Selectmen's meeting is now in session, Wednesday, March 21st, 2018. Would you all please stand and join us in stating the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First item on the agenda is public comment. Would anyone like to address the board about any issue that is not on the agenda? Okay, Erica, looks like you're up.
Maybe this might. So I'm very pleased and excited to announce that as of yesterday, I was handed the keys of a brand new 2017 Nissan Rogue all-wheel drive vehicle to help expand transportation for seniors in Adams. With that, I'd also like to try to expand the use of that car to our neighboring communities of Cheshire and Savoy. I have had a meeting so far with one of the selectmen in the Council on Aging of Cheshire, in Cheshire the other day, and we're starting to have those conversations on what that might look like and how we structure that. And I have a meeting with the Savoy Selectmen tomorrow. So I'm really hoping that we will be able to expand the use of, at the very least, some long-distance medical transportation options to them. When I have more details on how that looks, I'll certainly come back and share it with the town. But as soon as I can get it good and on the road, the RMV is closed for a few days over the next couple of days, so I can't quite get it officially licensed. I already put a word in over at the police department so they don't tow us out of the visitor center parking lot. But it is beautiful. It's nice. It's represented in Fallon Healthcare's bright orange color, and it has a really nice decal on it of the Adams Council on Aging. I would have liked to have been able to have a representative from Fallon Healthcare come here today, but the timing we weren't quite sure when we were going to be able to pull that together. But we do owe them a great deal of gratitude, and I'll certainly be passing along a thank you card from all of us to them. It's obviously the very least that we could do, but I'll make sure that it's there for you guys to sign, because I'll know that you'll want to be able to do that. But I can't help but stop for a minute and also thank Elder Services. So a couple people have asked, how did this happen? How did we get a car? How did we get this close to the Price is Right? I sit on a lot of different committees for transportation for Berkshire County, for Northern Berkshire County. I helped organize some emergency transportation when the hospital closed, and many of my colleagues and I have done numerous different things to help try to expand transportation, look into transportation, do what we can to help the seniors in our community. And while we have a very successful transportation program, as you know, we're really held to Berkshire County, and that doesn't even allow us to go outside of Berkshire County, let alone over state lines. And now, with the way healthcare is structured, there is a great need to get to southern Vermont for a lot of our needs, and unfortunately our vans just can't go there. So thanks to Elder Services, as Fallon Healthcare started their conversation investing in Berkshire County, the executive director, John Lutz, said, I really think that you need to talk to Erica over in Adams. And so I got talking with Fallon Health. They originally wanted to purchase a large 14-passenger van for Berkshire County to share in whatever way, and how did I think that was going to happen, and would it work? And unfortunately, it won't work. A lot of us already have vans. Large vehicles can be more expensive than cars. We have vans. Many of us have the 8-passenger vans, but those are difficult on the roads that the long roads that we have, and the dirt roads and dirt driveways and different elevations of communities that we have to travel into. So having an all-wheel drive vehicle, I thought, would really be a better idea. And I gave them a couple ideas on what that would look like. A few weeks later, they called us back and they said, we really got thinking to what you had said, and we'd like to give you one of those cars. So I said, well, heck yeah, okay, that sounds like a great idea. And as well, I had passed a few colleagues' names along in South County that I thought could really benefit from one as well, and it landed in Lee. So the town of Lee also got a car as well, same color. And they're hoping to be able to do something in their neck of the woods to expand some transportation for seniors as well. The card does not have to be tied to medical transportation. It can be used for social transportation as well. And, you know, I'm a huge supporter of trying to get transportation for social outings for seniors because, as I've mentioned before, I think a lot of us are more likely to take time off of work to take our loved one to a medical appointment, but we're not going to take it off to provide them access to social outings and the such. But having a social opportunity has a really, truly overwhelming impact on somebody's overall health. And so having an increased opportunity to get to more social outings is a good thing. But, you know, we are providing that right now too. What we don't have, and my first and main focus, is getting some long distance medical. So we'll now be able to perform rides to Bay State, to Southern Vermont, to Boston if we had to. And, you know, I think one of the other good things that we're going to be able to do, and I hope to try to organize some volunteer drivers for this car. But, you know, if a loved one has a grandchild or a child of their own, an adult child that is getting treatment in Boston or has surgery in Boston, we now can get that grandparent there. You know, child's in you know, an emergency surgery are going to be in Boston for several days, or Bay State even. Grandparents are stuck here at home. You know, they can't go and be there for the family. And so we're going to be able to start providing some of that opportunity to them, which I think is great. So along with the car, Fallon Health has also given us a check for $3,000 to help cover costs of inspections, oil, maintenance, and things like that for as long as we can carry that on. One of the other great things about having our own car and the title in hand, town owns it, it's ours, is that our great maintenance guys over at the DPW can start doing the work on those cars. We don't have to send it out to an outside vendor to do the work on those vehicles like we do with our vans. So there's going to be a nice savings there as well. So that's sort of what I came to say, that we're very excited. iBerkshires was able to write a really nice article, and I'm hoping in the future that the other press that we have in Berkshire County will be able to start helping us spread the word, because one of the things that we do lack is marketing money. And so nothing is successful without the help of marketing, and anything we can do to help get the word out that this is an opportunity will be important. So $3,000 in a car makes for a really good day. So I'm pleased. It is parked out front. It smells new, it's shiny, and it has XM radio for now, so I'm pretty excited about that. But did you guys have any questions, or?
Any questions, comments from the board?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank you for your dedication to the elderly of our community and for the good work. I know you're always out doing something, trying to improve our situation for the elderly, and this just is another positive thing that you've done.
Thank you. Well, it makes it easy when I really like my job, so.
And it's a fancy car, because I saw it.
It is nice. Yeah.
It's pretty fancy.
Yeah.
I got to see it in person yesterday, and I want to thank you for allowing me to join you yesterday, and it was great that some of the staff were able to be there, because they were equally as excited.
They were.
So thank you for all you do.
Yeah, thanks.
Rick, anything?
No.
Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Thank you. Great news, and thank you to Fallon Health. Donna, I'm not sure if we have to talk to Attorney St. John about accepting gifts. I think there's some kind of we'll deal with that.
Yep.
Right. Okay. Anyone else who would like to address the board about anything that is not on the agenda? Okay. It's always a good thing. Next is old business, amendment to intermunicipal agreement for veteran services. Yes, could you please come up, state your name and address, please, for the record?
Stephen Roy, I live in Pownell, Vermont.
And you are the,
I'm the Director of Veteran Services for Northern Berkshire County, Veteran Service Officer for the Town of Athens.
Right.
And
see, I know that, but folks watching might not.
Donna, do you have anything you'd like to add to this?
No, well, other than at the last board meeting, I think the board wanted to invite Steve to come here. Obviously, we're trying to expand the agreement between communities. I think there was some concern from board members about the number of hours that Steve had in his, in his day, and would veterans within Adams be adequately served? So I think Steve's ready to answer any questions that the board has.
So Steve, we're adding, I think it's 3 communities.
Correct.
Right, we're adding to the agreement that consists of several communities already, including Adams. How far stretched are you? You able to handle all those communities?
Well, let me give you a perfect example. Today
Sure.
was a full day in Dalton. I went down there, I wasn't around last week, I took the week off, but today was a very busy day in Dalton. I was happy to get the town back into a condition of compliance with the law. I did find several things that needed to be addressed, and I pretty much knocked them all out today. There's a few lingering items, but after that, I really don't think it's gonna, I can, with the manipulation that we've done with my schedule, there's going to be no change to the town of Adams at all. The only communities that are affected are North Adams and Williamstown. Williamstown, just that I moved my Williamstown's Wednesday afternoon hours to Friday afternoon instead. So it doesn't add any hours to my work week.
Okay.
The only thing it does is it adds 1 hour of commute time because it's a half an hour to get to Dalton and back. So
What are your current hours for Adams?
currently, it's from 1 o'clock in the afternoon until at least 3:30 in the afternoon. So it's a 5-hour commitment per week.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
Well, I had brought up the concern, I'm just, want to make sure before we okayed this, that you felt confident that there were enough hours in a day for you to do your job adequately and to do it well. I know that you've got a great reputation amongst the veterans, and you've done a lot of valuable work to help them. But I was just concerned, and if I'm hearing it from you and you're confident that if we add these 3 communities in our compact with the veterans, that you'll be able to serve all of the veterans that you serve now and the others that will come on board adequately?
And I also want to make sure that the quality of the services that I provide does not suffer as a result. I'm very confident in what we're able to do. I've got my full-time assistant in North
Right.
Adams.
I was just going to bring that up. You do have an assistant, so that person will take all of the messages and relay them to you. So you do have another person. I
Right.
just would like people to know that.
North Adams actually did a miracle and got one of these things for me. So I'm reachable anywhere when I'm on the road or in other communities.
Yeah.
And she's actually contacted me a couple of times today with questions of folks that came into North Adams. So I'm very mobile. With technology, the communication is able to keep right up with folks. And I also can allow veterans to contact me on this as well, so I can speak with them directly no matter where I am.
Another thing I think is interested in, not the very far future, the number of veterans that you'll need to serve. I know you'll need to serve families after veterans pass away, but we're at the end of our World War II veterans pretty much. The Korean veterans are getting up there in age. So,
Vietnam folks as well.
yeah, right, yeah. Okay, I just wanted to hear it from, literally from the horse's mouth.
I have spoken some of my concerns, such as if it did become overwhelming or I get stressed out from it or something like that. We're going to do this for like a 90-day trial basis kind of thing, and I'll report to Mike Canales. But so far, it's really not been, hasn't been that bad. It's actually kind of nice to go by Taco Bell once a week. So.
Yeah, okay. Okay, well, thank you very much. I just wanted to hear it from you, and you sound quite confident, so I'm very comfortable with it.
Okay, Christine?
More for an educational point for myself. How many veterans are you working with currently, and then how many would be added?
Let's see, I have about 80 active cases in North Adams, about a dozen in Williamstown, throughout the other communities. I mean, it's adding up to, it's well over 120. It looks like there's 8 active cases in Dalton. Most of them are on cruise control, so to speak. It's the elderly widow who's just getting the same amount every month to pay for her, for what she's eligible for. Those require minimal work. I usually see those folks once or twice a year. So, Cheshire, I can't really tell yet because I still have yet to speak with anybody in the department there.
Okay.
But I did stop in Lanesboro and met with folks there today. It was a very nice meeting. I'm going to be ready to send them a warrant, and that tomorrow, in fact.
Okay.
There's only 2 cases there, so.
Rick?
Well, actually, I had 2 questions. Joe asked the first one, and Christine asked the second one. So,
I know we have to start on that side of the table sometimes with questions.
Okay, so your communities include North Adams, Williamstown, Dalton, Clarksburg, Cheshire, Lanesboro, Savoy, and Florida are the communities. Okay, what is the board's pleasure?
I'll make a motion to approve the addendum to the intermunicipal agreement for veteran services.
We have a motion by Rick. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Joe. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none. Unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve, for all you do.
It's my honor.
Yep.
Okay, new business. I would like to add an item for new business if the board so chooses in regards to a facilities request form. This form has been to Town Hall over the last few weeks and has been through a few iterations, but they're ready to go. This is for the Northern Berkshire Hurricane Youth Lacrosse. I would be looking for a motion to add this request to tonight's agenda because they do want to begin their practices next week. Spring is almost here, so.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to add the Northern Berkshire Hurricane Youth Lacrosse Facilities Request Form to the agenda.
Motion by Christine, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Rick, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, none, unanimous. Okay, Mike Mucci, if you don't mind coming up to the podium. As we had stated, this is the Northern Berkshire Hurricane Youth Lacrosse League. Their request is to use the middle school, March 1st, 2018 to June 30th, 2018, Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's for practice, and they expect 100 individuals. They indicate they will perform the cleanups when they're complete. Their insurance, I believe, looks in good shape. Donna, what is your recommendation?
I would recommend approval. As the board knows, one of the things that we have not had a chance to do, but hope to do, is to kind of have some rules for use of the gymnasium. So I would ask Mr. Mucci to be extra careful. We're just, obviously with a gymnasium floor like that, you have to only have proper shoes on it, otherwise the surface can be damaged. But I think with his diligence, we will be okay.
Okay. Now, in the past, Mike, we've only had the coaches, we only dealt with Bart's basketball team, was pretty much the only sports team. And we had the coaches and the players were the only ones allowed in the school at the time, because there are ways to get into other parts of the building. We wouldn't want that, anyone to get lost or anything like that. So what is your plan for your practices? You have several teams here, I believe.
We have 3 levels. We recommended times Monday to Friday, 5 to 8.
Right.
Most likely, we'll do 2 or 3 nights a week.
Okay.
We'll probably stack our practices on the same night so that we can come in, have maybe a 5 o'clock start and 8 o'clock finish. The big thing for us, it's youth lacrosse for Adams and Cheshire. Mm-hmm. Our home field is the Cheshire School. In the past, we've been able to use the Cheshire Gym for the first couple weeks of the season before. This year we have a lot of snow out there. We may not really have field use for 2-3+ weeks. We've put a request into the Cheshire School, but right now that building isn't as occupied, and there's a couple hurdles to get inside there right now. And with the availability of Memorial, we thought it'd be a really good fit. So I'd be open to meeting with whomever to figure out how we get in and out of the building, having controlled access by the coaches, and making sure everyone who comes in is accounted for and leaves.
Okay, so you can meet with Donna prior to beginning?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Any questions, comments from the board?
No, I was just going to bring up the point that Donna brought up, that as we get more users for the gymnasium, that we do incorporate rules and, ingress and egress of the building, who has the keys and who doesn't.
Yes, we have a subcommittee for that building. It's Rick and myself, and we will meet with Donna to develop those rules and bring them back to this board for approval. Any further discussion?
Just one question. Did we ever get the bleachers inspected? I know there was talk of getting, I don't think they've been pulled out in
No, that's
many
why.
years.
That's one of the reasons for the not, having, the parents and stuff
At
is,
games,
right,
parents.
Right, so-
At this point.
at this point.
You can't run stairs up the bleachers. You can't pull those out.
Yeah. No, the idea is, practice only, players only, and, keep the parent traffic to just a drop-off, pickup, and keep that coordinated. But I'll probably, coordinate with Donna, get in there, walk through with the coaches first, kind of come up with a protocol
Okay,
that we're
good
comfortable
idea,
with,
yeah.
and get familiar with the space, but it's really gonna help us out for the next couple of weeks.
Okay,
Get things going.
Anything else on the board? Hearing none, do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to allow the use of the Memorial School Gymnasium for use by the Northern Berkshire Hurricane Youth Lacrosse League, and from dates 3/1/18 through 6/30/18, Monday through Friday from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Okay, we have a motion by Joe. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Go ahead.
Second by Christine.
We were fighting.
Rick will get the next one. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none, unanimous. Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, back on to the agenda. We have, under new business, request for a letter of non-opposition, Mission, Massachusetts. Do we have representatives from that company? Yes, we do. Donna, you want to bring us up to speed, please?
Here with us tonight is Corey Ravelson with Mission, Massachusetts. I think the board remembers about a year ago. We also had a board meeting where Corey came before the board. I think at that time he was interested in a property in the downtown. Since that time, the town has worked with its planning board, has adopted a set of bylaws. Those were just recently approved by town meeting, and now they're in the hands of the Attorney General's office. So with that information, I think Mission, Massachusetts has kind of reevaluated the location. We're pleased, I'm very pleased that they're still interested in the town of Adams. It's been a pleasure to work with Corey over the past year. So I think he's here to talk about where they are interested in, positioning their business.
Okay, Corey.
Yeah, so Corey Ravelson, I'm the general manager of Mission, Massachusetts. Honestly, Donna hit on a lot of the points I was going to cover. I don't have a formal presentation. I mean, we've been in front of the board before, talked about our security partner, our medical marijuana expertise partner, Forefront. I guess I just wanted to give you an update on where we're at. It was really, we've always had a strong interest of locating in Adams. It was really just a timing thing. Donna kind of spearheaded the local ordinance, and we just felt it was best to see exactly where the town wanted a company like ours to locate. And once we had a directive there, we identified a location. And the other factor, I guess, was just waiting for that to get fully approved, the planning board, and having it voted in at Springtown meeting. And then also just what's going on at the state level with the Cannabis Control Commission and the draft regulations that they have been composing and have proposed. So the timing feels right now. We have a location identified on the northern side of town, 150 Howland Ave. We don't have a lease signed yet, but we are in the final stages of that. We have a great relationship with the landlord, and I think both parties want to finalize the deal as soon as possible. So I'm here saying that's our plan, that's where we would like to locate, and I'm seeking a letter of support or non-opposition.
Okay, thank you. 150 Helen Ave, I'm sure a lot of people on Facebook will have a lot to say about that, whereabouts it is, but it is an existing business, and they have 2 buildings that they have currently, and you're gonna be using one of those buildings.
Correct. So there's 2 buildings. There's, to my knowledge, an 11,000 square foot building, and a 5,400 square foot building. We are looking at the 5,400 square foot building. It was Ronnie's cycle.
Okay.
So Ron intends to, he has his motorcycle and utility sports vehicle business in the bigger building. He's going to keep operating there. We're going to lease out the smaller building from him. Yeah, so
Great.
We plan to increase the amount of parking on site as well, or I guess just repave areas and make sure that the town is okay with the parking allocations that would work for our use, and yeah.
Okay. Now, this board, a few members of this board have some concern about the locating on our main street on Park Street, and you have found a facility and a compromise, so the board is pleased with the compromise, the members that had some concern with that, so I appreciate that, and thank you.
Yep.
Okay, does the board have any comments or questions?
I'd like to just welcome you to town. I believe this has been a long time coming. I know there's still a lot to happen with the Cannabis Commission. There's still a lot of details that need to be brought to the forefront. I like the location. I think it's a great location because one of the main concerns with a medical marijuana facility is access by public transit. And the bus goes by there because a lot of people that may need the medical marijuana may not have the means to get to where they have to go. And I just think it's a perfect location, and I've known Ronnie for a long time, and can't peek over there, can't see him, he's hiding, but I'm glad that, you struck a deal. Well, you're about to strike a deal with Ronnie, and I just want to thank him for helping us along with what we've been trying to achieve for a while. And the last thing I'd like to ask, just for the people here and the people who will be watching, can you tell us a little bit about your organization?
Sure. We are a medical marijuana nonprofit. We are in the state application, or in the state approval application phase. We have a cultivation facility proposed for Worcester. That's where the product that we will be supplying to patients here in Adams will come from. We're also going to have another retail store in Worcester as well. So right now, those are our 2 locations. The state has given us the ability to, the license that we have applied for with the state has the ability to have 3 retail medical marijuana stores, so we are in search of a 3rd as well. We thought that was going to be Burlington. It might end up being Burlington, but it's a little too far away to say that that's a definite thing. I guess a little bit about our background and structure. We've partnered with the Windmill Group, which is not a national, but a regional security firm. They've had a lot of communication with the police chief and police department here in Adams. I think that they're both on the same page for how that process will move forward. And Mission Mass has also partnered with Forefront Advisors, which is a national medical marijuana advisory firm who has helped clients like us acquire over 50 state-issued medical marijuana licenses around the country now. So we really feel like we have a great team. Really look forward to locating here in Adams and being a positive member of the community, and looking forward to it. So.
And lastly, I'd like to say I was very impressed with your group when you came for your initial presentation, and the chief was there, and people must realize that these medical marijuana facilities are going to be structured well, they're gonna be well protected. And if I'm not mistaken, Chief, there'll be a live film coming right into your office from within the complex?
Yes, that's part of the state regs.
Okay. So just to let people know that this isn't anything that's willy-nilly, and there's places up and running right now, they're not showy. So I'm looking forward for you to come to town.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Christine.
So clarification, this is for medical marijuana?
This is for medical marijuana. Yeah,
Right.
this letter of support is only for medical marijuana.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you in the process of looking at recreational?
We are, now that the Cannabis Control Commission has released their regulations, we really didn't want to take a stand on that until we knew what it was going to consist of. We've looked at the draft regs that they've enacted, and we are interested in moving forward as a company as a kind of a dual entity of medical marijuana and recreational marijuana. So it's my understanding from the zoning ordinance that was passed that that was for medical and recreational marijuana use in Adams. We do plan on doing both. And yeah, so.
Okay. And the cultivation facility in Worcester, is it built?
It is under construction.
It's under
right
construction,
now.
so- okay.
Yeah, it's been a little bit longer of a process than we would have liked, but yeah, it's an expensive endeavor, and we just wanted to make sure that we had it right. And but we're moving forward, and that project's coming along. So.
Okay. And the time frame that you're looking at to open up this facility on Howland Ave?
It's a little bit in flux, but we are interested. I mean, it depends on when everything gets, I guess, buttoned up with the town and with the real estate deal, and then getting the final approval from the state. I mean, this is just a piece in the process, but getting the letter of support from the town. I would say a realistic estimate is being done with our build out, having state approval to operate sometime, definitely in 2018. I would say probably around September would be a best case scenario. So that's the goal right now, but we'll definitely keep the town informed if things are moving ahead of schedule or if we're running behind, so.
Okay, Rick?
I really have no questions. I can't say I'm in favor of the whole recreational marijuana thing, but most of the town, or a large portion of it is, so I won't oppose it. Yeah,
So,
really all I had.
so Corey, if the board approves the host, non-opposition agreement this evening, the next step for the town and for your company is the host agreement.
Correct.
And then we will work on an agreement, and the town is, as state law has indicated, we can work with you to come up with a percentage of the profits that you make would be coming back to the town,
Correct.
right? And 3% is what I've heard out there, but if you read the paper, there's been more, but 3% is the minimum.
That 3% is not the minimum. 3%, and it depends if you're looking at medical or recreational. The 3% is actually the max for recreational, but there is no set limit for medical, to my knowledge.
Okay,
So.
so we will be negotiating.
We will be negotiating.
Right.
We understand that that's part of the process,
Right.
and yeah. So.
Okay, understood. Okay, is there anyone from the audience that would like to speak in regards to this? Yes, sir? Would you please come up and state your name and your address, please, so the people on TV can listen in?
I have to be on TV.
You can be a star.
Thank you. My name is Ron Ouimet,
Yep.
and I own the property.
on Holland Avenue that the Mission Group is interested in. And I've been dealing with them since the time they've come here and were instructed that they needed to find an appropriate place. And all I have to say is they've been very, very professional, and it was kind of a difficult decision of ours to give up part of our business that we've had for 62 years in Adams, but I think it's worthwhile, and I think they'll bring good business to the town. That's all I have to say.
I agree, thank you.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Thanks, Ron. Is there anyone else from the audience who would like to speak on behalf of this issue? Okay, hearing none. The board, any questions or any further questions or concerns?
Yes, Mr. Chairman,
Sir.
just one thing in the future, this probably isn't the time to bring it up, but I feel that our community should look into a number of operations that we're gonna allow in town, because I know business takes care of it itself, but if we oversaturate, I'm worried that we're gonna lose some of the businesses that might start up because of the competition. That's just my thought. That's something that we should look into. That is my belief.
Now, all of the companies need to go through the state license board and to be approved, and they'll approve, they may not approve anyone for Adams, but they may approve two. It's up to them really in the end, or.
Right, really the process starts with what we're doing here tonight. It's with the company who's, in the state process, coming to the town, getting the letter of support or non-opposition, and then taking that to the state level for the state's approval.
Right.
And that's the process for medical. Recreational will be a little bit different, but yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I
Yes,
think
Donna.
the chief had wanted to.
Chief, would you like to address this? Glad to hear from you.
Well, I've had conversations with Corey, correct?
Yes.
Okay. It's been a while since we spoke, but I've talked with him. I spoke with his head of security. We had a very good conversation, and as Mr. Weeman has said, that the relationship that they have portrayed or extended to the town of Adams does speak volumes. They seem to, let me put it this way, there's a lot of groups out there that like to put the cart before the horse and jump into things. They're doing it methodically. They're doing everything, with a procedure. They did hold back, waiting to see how Adams was going to proceed with the bylaw, and which determined what they were going to do. Last year, when we were in the planning board stages of the bylaw, Mr. Weeman contacted me regarding his location, and we had a good conversation about that, and he assured me that there would be more than sufficient parking, which was always a concern from day one, being Park Street. But Mr. Weeman said that there is more than enough parking, and if they have to create more areas to park, that they would. There's a willingness on both the owner of the property and the new tenants coming in to work together, not only between themselves, but also with the town, also with the police department, because as Joe said, the security aspects of it are very important, because those guidelines are pretty much dictated by state law. And yes, a live monitor 24/7 is in the police station. It is on the dime of the company coming in, and with his head of security, when we were discussing it, to be reasonable, there are state guidelines regarding what is needed for security, but I did comment the first night here that I'm not going to be looking for something outrageous and unreasonable, but I am definitely looking at something above and beyond the state guidelines. And was it Mr. Posner? Pender? All right. Speaking with him, he agreed, and he said, we prefer to go above and beyond the state regs as well for their peace of mind and their satisfaction. So there's a willingness to increase the security aspects of the facility to make it more secure. There has been many questions raised over the last several weeks, actually since town meeting, regarding the bylaw. The CCC, the Cannabis Control Commission, I believe is coming out with the final regulations, I think by the end of the week. Now, it's my understanding, and I could be wrong, that home delivery and, for lack of a better phrase, smoking dens are not in this current set of regs. That's something they're going to look at down the road within the next year. So home delivery for recreational is not something that's going to happen, because there was a question that was brought up at town meeting, is this going to be like Domino's with home delivery? For recreational, no. Medical, yes. It is built into the laws where you can have home delivery. However, that is an option up to the establishment. So if Mission Mass wants to do home deliveries, they can do that. That is their option, only for medical, not for recreational. If they could also limit the hours, but the hours could also be something that's agreed upon between the town and the company. So just to clarify it and set it straight, home delivery on medical, but not on recreational. That should put several people's minds at ease, because that question has been coming up several times a week since town meeting. So I just wanted to put that out there as well. But right now, it looks like, the company is very eager to come to Adams, and their eagerness is also as part of their eagerness, they want to work with all the vested parties in this to make sure that it's a go and that everything is addressed accordingly and properly.
Okay, Chief. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I can just add that in terms of home delivery, that's just going to be something that we're going to address as we get operational, if there's a demand for it. But I think to start, we will not have that in our business plan for medical to start, but it'll just be something that we look at as we are operational, and if there seems to be a demand for that service. So.
Okay, and just to ask one more time, Joe asked this question, you believe you'll be open in the year 2018? This current year?
I do,
Okay.
yeah.
And this will be for medical only at this point?
This will be for medical only, yes. And I guess the process for recreational is coming, it's coming into vision, but, we would work with the town before we move forward with that, so.
Right. Okay. All right, so what is the board's pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to extend a letter of non-opposition for Mission, Massachusetts for opening of a medical marijuana facility it's a medical marijuana facility. I'm not going to give the address because that's still in the offing. Is there anything else I think I should add to that? To make it?
Is it the medical marijuana, what is it, a registered marijuana dispensary?
Yes.
I believe is the term that the DPH uses.
Okay, so a non-opposition for medical marijuana facility? Registered facility to be located in the town of Adams.
Okay, we got that. Motion by Joe, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Christine. And Corey, we look forward to working with you in the near future. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none, unanimous. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Anything else on the new business? Next, we have department reports, town administrators report. Donna?
Despite having to contend with fairly severe weather, winter weather, the town's contractor, American Environmental, has done excellent work for us at 50 Commercial Street. The building is now down, demolition debris has been carried away, and the site work is essentially complete. Once the contractor submits his billing to the town, I will be working with Attorney St. John to immediately place a lien on the property for the entire project costs. And the board had discussed that at the last meeting. Our invitation for bids for the Adams Visitor Center Parking Improvement Project are expected to be issued next Wednesday with publication in Central Register and the Berkshire Eagle. Town staff and the town's engineer, Waterfield Design Group, will conduct a pre-bid conference and site walk on Thursday, April 12th, 10 o'clock, at 10 o'clock. I don't know why that sounds so far away, but it really is only in a few weeks. Sealed bids will be due on Thursday, April 26th, 2018 at 4 p.m. So I know the board is anxious to get that project underway, as am I. And then lastly, the town will apply for Opportunity Zone status. I'm not sure if the board has heard about this. It's a new program offered by the Trump administration. The Tax Cut and Jobs Act of 2017 authorized the U.S. Treasury in consultation with state governors to establish opportunity zones. Development projects within designated low-income opportunity zones can receive favorable tax credits, and a lot of times this is what enhances the attractiveness of such projects in such areas to private investors. Opportunity zones are nominated by governors, and they cannot exceed more than 25% of each state's low-income census tracts. The Massachusetts Office of Housing and Economic Development has informed eligible communities like Adams about the state's competitive application process for municipal designations. The application seeks information about opportunities, planning, and demographics within the proposed zones. We will apply to have 2 of our census tracts designated. Tract 9220 is, I believe, where that's where the Greylock Glen Resort Project is located, and then track 9221 is the downtown area. So we're going to also apply for that, and the applications will be due next Monday. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Donna. Any questions from the board?
Just on this Opportunity Zone application, so it's a new program, it's under the Trump administration, so that's federal, but it's going to be looked over by the state of Massachusetts.
Well,
they'll administer the.
We're not sure. As the first action to identify eligible areas,
Yeah.
the governors of each state can nominate, here's the states that we want to nominate, or here's the areas, the census tracts. It's all based on census tracts, and they're census tracts that meet certain income eligibility. It's low income, and all of our census tracts are eligible, all 3 of them. But it's kind of selecting where we have projects that could benefit from this type of tax incentive.
Yeah, I'd like to just sometime sit down with you and go over
Absolutely.
this again, because I don't really understand it all that well right now.
And it is, Joe, it is a new program. There's not a lot of detail. The first stage of it is just nominating the areas. So
Okay.
we are hoping that at least 2 of our 3 tracts will be nominated, and then the town will be eligible for the programs as it develops, so.
Sounds good.
Anything else for Donna?
Yeah, you said 2 of 3.
Yes.
What's the third?
The number, you mean? It's, it goes the northern part of town.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Next, we have subcommittee and liaison reports. Joe?
Yeah, I attended its Indivisible Pittsfield. It's a grassroots group that meets on issues of the day, and I saw something. It was moms against, let's see, I don't have it down properly. It was moms, it was about, the moms were all there, and it was about gun control and what has been going on, and it was very well attended. I just wanted to get a feel for what, people were thinking, and it was a robust conversation. The woman that was representing the group, I forget what it was, I should have remembered better, but it was quite enlightening, and I really feel right now that there's a movement that I hope catches on. It's a very difficult situation. There's a lot of spokes on the wheel to try to resolve it, but I think something's got to come about. And as I said at our last meeting, kind of reminds me of 1967 when the 100,000 young people marched out to Washington Mall protesting the Vietnam War, and there wasn't a gun fired, and it was kind of like a peace movement, and the peace movement helped stop the Vietnam War, helped to stop President Johnson from running, and I think the children of this, the children's movement, I think is going to be a good one, and I hope that the March 24th in Washington, when all the students show up, I hope that our politicians listen and begin the long road of finding ways to stop this unnecessary violence.
Good, very good, Joe. Anything else?
No, that's all I have.
Okay, Christine.
I attended an Adams Cheshire Regional School District Superintendent Search Committee meeting. That process is still moving forward. And I also attended a Northern Berkshire Community Coalition meeting to discuss an upcoming forum topic, actually 2 topics, and how the town of Adams would be part of that conversation. So one is on economic development, so Don, I will follow up with you on that, and the other is on recreational opportunities in Northern Berkshire.
Okay, Rick?
Nothing.
All right. I just got a few things. It was in the I Berkshires in regards to the Route 8 project for Adams. Don and I met at the District 1 offices, and discussion was of when the project would begin. And after a long discussion, the project for Route 8, which will begin, I believe, around Park Street, and will go to the bridge prior to Mullen Mayflower. That will begin as soon as the ground thaws in the spring of 2020. So the award will be made in 2017, which we were fighting for, and construction will begin in the spring of 2020. The other possible good news is the Ashwaubenon Trail. Was also mentioned in that article that the landowners would not let the trail go through their land, but since then there's been discussions, and there is an opportunity that will happen now. And now we are going to work with District 1 officials to ensure that the funding in Berkshire Regional Planning Commission can be secured to make that happen, to get us to North Adams instead of going up onto Route 8 possibly. So now Don is working very hard on that, and so hopefully that's going to become a reality. That's exciting news, or hopefully we'll be back on track for that. Let's see, the other thing was, we did have a visit from Lieutenant Governor Polito. She did come here to discuss some of the grants that we have received. Donna gave a presentation of the parking lot grant, the rail trail, a lot of discussion about that. The platform is going to be built this spring. That will be a completion of that piece of the pie that will get us what we're looking for people downtown. It's only one piece of it, and that's going to happen this spring, and I'm sure we'll have a ceremony for that. So she did attend and listen to some of our concerns. We also did mention, Joe very eloquently did mention about the Glen project. So we are continue to fight for that. She nodded her head and she said she understood as Joe was speaking. So that's a good thing. She is aware. You could tell that she is aware that she's been told about this several times. So that's a good thing. So we did have her ear for about an hour that day. So she was in Adams at the Visitor Center last week. And I think that's all I have for today. Okay, go to the order. Joe?
Yeah, just to quickly, as far as the scenic train ride, I've been in contact with Jay Green and the rest of the Hoosick Valley Elementary School students who really put on, helped us out immensely by writing letters to our state officials and the governor. And we did have some train rides last fall for some of the grades, and the rest of the grades will be given a free train ride. And it was exciting when the kids were on it when I went with them last fall. 99% of those children have never been on a train, and it was exciting, and we're hoping to maybe invite Lieutenant Governor Polito to take a ride with the kids because she was interested in taking a ride on the scenic railroad. So they're working with Michelle Colvin, Jay Green, and others, and Michelle is the principal of Hoosick Valley Elementary School, so the kids will be getting a free ride, and they're deserving of it.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Christine?
Quickly, I just wanted to thank those who returned their nomination papers and will be on the ballot come May, including the person to the left of me who has decided to run again. So thank you for at least submitting your papers. And I am looking forward to the forms that will be scheduled to hear from all of the those who have taken out papers. And then on Sunday, there is an Easter egg hunt at the youth center. So for anybody who is interested in participating in that and bringing the little ones there, it is a free event and an awful lot of fun.
Okay, thank you. Rick, do you have anything?
Nothing.
Okay. I think that's it. Donna, you all set? Okay, motion to adjourn.
So move.
Rick, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Christine, any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, none?